You've probably never given it much thought, but that constant, invisible flow of air surrounding us is one of the most powerful forces on Earth. Whether it's a gentle breeze, providing relief on a sweltering day, or howling gales whipping across the landscape, wind shapes our world in dramatic ways. Those unseen rivers of drifting molecules influence everything, from weather patterns to ocean currents to the very air we breathe. Most of us tend to take wind completely for granted when it's just a mild inconvenience ruffling our hair. But this ever-present phenomenon has incredibly far-reaching impacts that are pretty mind-blowing once you start to understand where wind even comes from in the first place. Take a moment to appreciate something most of us barely notice: the invisible force known as wind. I know it may be easy to overlook, but that ever-present rush of air shapes our world in unimaginable ways. Let's pull back the curtain and explore the unseen origins of this mighty cosmic phenomenon. Because the next time you feel a cool gust, you're brushing up against the very fabric of the universe. So, what exactly is wind? In order to understand wind, first, we need to wrap our heads around the air itself. Basically, wind is simply air in motion. The air around us is made up of a mixture of gases like nitrogen, oxygen, and smaller amounts of other elements. These gas molecules are constantly zipping around, colliding with each other and any objects in their path. And when a bunch of these molecules move together in a particular direction, we feel that motion as wind. It might seem like a gentle breeze one moment and a powerful gust the next, but it's all just air molecules being shoved along by the differences in air pressure between one place and another. You might be surprised to learn that the wind we feel is actually tied to the giant ball of burning gas we orbit around, the sun. That's because the heat from the sun is the driving force behind most of the wind on our planet. Here's how it works. The sun bathes the Earth with its intense rays, but different surfaces absorb and release that heat at different rates. Land areas like deserts tend to heat up much faster than the oceans during the day. As a result of this uneven heating, the air above the land becomes warmer and less dense than the cooler air over the water. As that warm air rises, it creates an area of lower pressure. And we all know what happens when there's low pressure. The higher pressure air rushes in to fill that void. That is when we start to feel wind picking up as cooler, as denser air races in from over the oceans. It's like an invisible tug of war playing out all around us as nature tries to keep the air pressure balanced. During the day, wind often blows from the cooler oceans or lakes towards the warmer land masses. Then at night, the cycle reverses, as the land cools off faster than the water. This endless dance between warm and cool air is what keeps the wind circulating in a perpetual loop, much to the delight of windsurfers and kite flyers everywhere. Even though we can't see it directly, wind plays a huge role in shaping our world. It's responsible for everything from pushing storms across continents to stirring up ocean currents that regulate temperatures around the globe. Without wind, our weather patterns would grind to a halt. Clouds wouldn't be able to bring rain to water-starved regions, and pollutants would just hang stagnantly in the air we breathe instead of getting dispersed. On a smaller scale, those gentle breezes you feel are also the planet's way of trying to equalize temperatures. A warm summer wind can provide cooling relief, while Arctic winds in winter drive wind chill factors through the roof. Of course, sometimes nature gets a little overexcited in its balancing act, and winds rage into destructive forces like hurricanes and tornadoes. As pressure differences become more extreme between different air masses, the resulting clash of winds can spawn awe-inspiring but dangerous vortexes of spinning air. Even everyday winds are almost impossibly chaotic if you look at them up close. The most seemingly gentle breeze is actually made up of countless turbulent eddies and swirls of air, twisting in a million different directions at once. It's a beautiful kind of chaos that reminds us how much complex science underpins even the most mundane aspects of the natural world around us. Every wayward strand of hair or fallen leaf kicked up in the wind is a tiny part of this grand atmospheric choreography. From weather balloons to wind turbines, we have found ingenious ways to harness this invisible airflow for everything, from predicting storms to generating clean electricity. For as long as the sun continues baking our planet, that eternal dance of low and high pressure will keep on creating wind. So the next time you feel a gust of wind at your back, remember the epic journey it went through. Starting with the sun's rays beating down from 93 million miles away, heating up the ground until the atmosphere itself was sent swirling into motion in a grand effort to restore balance. That is the wonderful thing about wind, the invisible, untamed force that connects us to the movements of the heavens themselves in the most tangible way. And all you have to do is feel the breeze on your skin, and you'll find yourself experiencing a small part of that cosmic choreography firsthand.